Hello gamers, it is Larson here, and today I want to make a quick video explaining what to do if you want to make a Wii related project that requires coding, or if you just want to make a project in general that has to do with coding and you want to show it off and you make it be successful. There's a few steps that I would, or rather tips that I would give to you if you're going to do that. And this is from experience because I created Reconnect 24 and I'm still processing all that there was to do in the project. So the first thing, and yes, this is just going to be another black screen video because I just want you to listen. Remember, this is low tech stuff that I'm using to record. Okay, so the first tip that I have for you is make sure you have coding experience. If you don't have coding experience and your project will require coding, this could, if you want to make like a revival service or like a cool network for the Wii or some app or something that has any practical usage, you need to have coding experience. Or else, what are you doing? Because that's the most important thing that you need for it to be successful. There are kids out there that decide that they're going to make a Wii revival project. And I've seen it happen maybe a dozen times, maybe even more. But it almost failed instantly because no one knew what they were doing. No one was smart at it. It's so easy to create a Discord server and be like, okay, here's my revival. Check it out, guys. It's called, I don't know. Let's just say it's called, I have an example in my head. I just don't want to say it because someone actually used that name. Let's just say that you have a project to revive the BBC iPlayer channel. It's so easy to create a Discord server and be like, hey guys, I'm making a BBC iPlayer revival, but the hard part is actually getting it to work. So this leads into my second tip. Don't make it your first project. If you do have coding experience, and by the way, there's a couple sites that are good to learn coding as a self-taught person. I used Codecademy. Python's the best programming language I think that you can use for a starter. But they have Python 2, a Python 2 course. But honestly, Python 3 is what everyone uses now. And actually, the biggest change, believe it or not, in Python 2 and 3 is how you call the function to print something. Because nowadays, you have to put it in parentheses. Anyway, you need to I would say be familiar with coding first before you try doing something. It might sound boring to make any programming project that doesn't have to do with the Wii or whatever. But I would definitely say just don't make it your first project, because Reconnect 24 was my first big project and I didn't really have any coding experience when I started. I got lucky. We found a niche to revive, and it worked. It got so much more popular than my wildest dreams could imagine, and it got me some fame. But you better be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Because I'm sure if we didn't make a revival, someone else would have created one by now. But I basically had to do everything. I was doing the main work for the project, because it took me about like 9 or 10 months. Yeah, 10 months exactly. Well, 9 months to get actually custom news to show up, and then 10 months to actually get it working. For the news channel, I basically had to take a dump of the file before Nintendo shut the channel down, and understand how it all works, and then write a script in Python to download the latest news, parse it, and make the file. This is not as easy as it sounds, because it was a file format that is completely custom to the news channel, and it's not like it's an XML file or a JSON or a SQLite database or whatever. It's like a custom binary format. But honestly, I would just make sure you're comfortable with the programming language first, because making it your first project is tough. But we were lucky that it became the project it did. I'll get to this in my other points. Okay, you need to not take it so seriously. And this is something that everyone struggles with. people take the internet too seriously because people get so riled up, including me. This is a great skill to have. If you take things more cautiously and hang out with the right people, and people just get really worked up over what people do online or in Discord, and honestly, you can't really expect people to behave a certain way, especially in a platform like Discord where it's mostly used by Gen Z people. Eventually Gen Alpha people will start using it. I think Gen Alpha started in 2012, so if you're abiding to the Discord terms of service, you have to be 13 or older, so anyone who's in that generation will have to sign up next year if they don't want to break the terms. Anyway, yeah. Don't make it your day job, because some people, I've seen some people, I'm pretty sure, try to make this their full-time job or revival project, but this isn't healthy. You need to take things slow, and you need to make sure that you balance work and life. Okay, here's the fourth one, and it's also an important thing. If your project really takes off, I'm not sure how many of you are actually wanting to create a project. I'm just so sick of hearing people make a project that goes nowhere. People aren't gonna like you, like somewhere down the line. This is what I experienced with Reconnect 24, and this is why I'm still recovering from all the stuff that it gave me. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the community anymore. Well, I kind of do, but I'm just very worried about what people think about me, because honestly, I've burned so many bridges through the project, but I started when I was 13, remember that, and I am a very impulsive person, and there's gonna be people that aren't very happy of what your decisions are, and it's hard to make the right decisions all the time. But if eventually someone's gonna not like what you're doing, or there's gonna be kids who have too much free time and want to stop you, and I've had some people harass me, like, you're just gonna have to suck it up. I mean, maybe turn off your DMs and friend requests, but I'll get to the next point, which is gonna tie into this. Okay, the fifth one is be creative. Yeah, don't just use your imagination when it comes to a project. For example, like, honestly, some of the project ideas I've seen aren't very good. For example, there's a Wii Social Network project created by a guy named Hotshot, but he had no idea what he was doing. He just told other people to do the work, basically. And he apparently lied about his age or something like that, and it was a disaster. The people who were trying to do something with it eventually quit because, well, I remember one person did, because it wasn't going anywhere. But honestly, don't create a project for ego if you really want to make a project. Also, yeah. Also, here's my other point. Unless you have a valid reason for doing it, I would try to not do a project that copies an idea from another project, because honestly, what you saw with the Reconnect 24 and WeLink thing, you could see how badly I could handle everything, because here's the thing, when I was working on it and WeLink started doing their stuff, I was too worried about what they were doing, and I was also too worried about falling behind because other people were switching to the service. That's exactly what I didn't want as a developer, but it just creates a divide, and it's not bad for the community. And there's 10 million Nintendo Wi-Fi connection revivals, and WeLink has honestly taken a big ambitious step to making their own Wi-Fi connection revival. But honestly, as it goes, those projects are too similar because they do the same thing. But WeMFi is probably always going to be by far the most used one. So if you want to do it for personal use, go ahead. This is just my recommendation, because it's not like it was a hard year. That year, 2023, was probably the hardest year I had working on the project, and I was so glad to leave because people wanted me to, first of all, and second of all, I wanted to too. Okay, here's this last and final point. You're gonna think this is crazy, but honestly, what I would do, don't make a Discord server. Well, especially before you get any work done. Because, honestly, I'm pretty sure if Weamify had a Discord server, it would be chaotic. But I just, you're opening yourself up to a whole can of worms if you make a Discord server. I mean, if your project becomes popular and whatever, it's just like if Reconnect24 never made a Discord, it would be a very different project because there wouldn't be the pain that people experience that in the chat. Honestly, a lot of Nintendo Discords and Discords in general are poorly moderated. Discord moderators are typically portrayed as a stereotypical person that has too much free time and it's like a janitor that has a mop and has to clean up after other people's messes. So, yeah, these are my tips. I mean, just you got to start a project somewhere, but you got to know what you're doing in order to make it work properly. Because honestly, this whole thing about kids making their own project and them going nowhere, it's a recurring practice. And this is why I'm not so immersed in the Wii community anymore. This YouTube channel is probably the only public-facing thing I've have so far. And then trying to maintain the contacts that I do have. But no one really contacts me for Wii stuff anymore, and I'm surprised, but I'm glad. So anyway, just be mindful of what you're doing, and you should also be respectful of the people. That's what I feel like was lacking, honestly, when I was doing Reconnect24. Respect. You should be grateful that if a project goes somewhere and people are devoting time into it, you should be grateful for their efforts. You shouldn't just go and sit around all day and make fun of them, but honestly, in my experience, people just probably found me an easy target. But you need to, you should be grateful that people are spending time out of this. It's a stressful thing sometimes to get all these things revived and working, whatever. You just gotta be nice. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I know. Also, by the way, that Wii pool video, I didn't know Henry made that until I saw the video, like, way after you guys did. At least he got the Wii working. The like-dislike ratio on that video was insane. There was, like, 60% like. Anyway, yeah. Just be mindful of what you're doing when making a Wii project or any homebrew project or anything. It's so easy to start one. It's not easy to get it off the ground. Okay, bye.